The illustrations in Barefoot books are just vibrant and engaging. We have many different illustrators. This is Clara Beaton. Clara Beaton uses fabric art. But because our illustrations are so vibrant and just so captivating, and they really encompass so much of the story, our authors are able to use higher vocabulary than you would expect to use with, say, a 2 or 3-year-old or even a 7 or 8-year-old, because the children have those context clues right there in the picture. For example, Beer on a Bike. Beer on a Bike is my daughter's favorite book. We have almost the whole beer series. We just have a few more to go, and she loves them. So Beer on a Bike is a great story. It's like a dialogue between a little boy and beer. And it's great, too, for kindergarteners who are starting to read. They can pick this book up and read it with their parents. And that first page, where the little boy's talking, is sight words that they're learning, that they'll be able to read. And then the next page has that, richer vocabulary as the beer is speaking. So, Beer on a boat, as happy as can be. Where are you going, Beer? Please wait for me. I'm going to an island where magic star fruits grow, where herons fish in secret groves and sparkling rivers flow. I would never think to be using vocabulary like this with a 2-year-old, but if you can see, it's illustrated right there. The sparkling rivers flowing, the secret groves, you can see the fish and the heron, and the star fruit on the trees. She's completely immersed in the vocabulary, straight from what she's seeing on the page. Most of our books are like that. As a teacher, I find Barefoot books such a useful tool, not only for home use, but also for the classroom, because they're so versatile. Oftentimes, I was looking for, picture books that could cross curriculum. We have so much to do. We're trying to, squish it all in. And when you can utilize just unique learning opportunities that can broaden the child's awareness and education, it's like treasure. So, The Real Princess is one of the books that Barefoot Books has, and it's all stemmed in math. It has strong math themes. Many of our books have strong math themes. And then in the end, test your counting skills. Again, just with that expanded learning. Many of our books in the back have the fact sheets. This is A Hole in the Bottom of the Sea. And A Hole in the Bottom of the Sea is one of our watch and sing along books. We have a whole bunch of these. One of the very popular ones is Animal Boogie. And this is A Hole in the Bottom of the Sea. In the back, if you read music at all, it does have the sheet music, so you can do it. We also have a YouTube channel that has all of these books animated. And with the book, you get a CD that has, just the music by itself, and it also has the animation so that you can explore and kind of dance around and do those fun activities with your child and really get them engaged and interested in the book. A Hole in the Bottom of the Sea also has the fact sheets in the back. And it talks about, blue holes in the ocean and what they are and different facts, the different ocean animals that they discuss in the book. And it talks about the food chain. What is the food chain in the ocean? Who's at the top of the food chain? What does that mean? So this is a very fun book. My daughter loves the Animal Boogie. We read A Hole in the Bottom of the Sea a lot too. She likes to read it, and then she says, okay, let's sing it, and then she dances around to it. So it's just fun to kind of, we talk about multiple intelligences, that music, some children, learn better through music, some through art, some through, literacy and literature. And being able to develop your child through, kinesthetics and so on really helps them to grow in their literacy skills and also to develop this love for reading and see how fun it really is to explore these books. One of our other watch and sing books is Driving My Tractor. And this is a really cute one. It's a counting one, talking about, the number of different animals that are in the trailer. It's a really cute book. But at the end, they go into some of the crops that farmers grow. And, the different machinery that's found on a farm. So if you're having any farm conversations, then this is a great book to kind of pick up, have a good time, and also, give your child a little bit of learning at the same time. Many of our cultural books, like Mama Pena's Pancakes, have fact sheets in the back. And they also have maps that go along with it. And they talk about landmarks and the culture and what it's like to live there. So you can really, these stories are great for young children, but as the young children are growing and getting older, you can still dive into these books and you can still talk to them about these books and go deeper with these stories. Like I said, we don't just have books. We have games, we have puzzles, we have puppets. One of the games that we have is Children's Around the World Memory. And this is a cute one that it's all the different children, their name, what they are dressed like, and what countries they live in and where they're from. It actually goes along very nicely with one of our Watch and Sing books, If You're Happy and You Know It. If you're happy and you know it, we all know that tune. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. But If You're Happy and You Know It talks about children from different cultures around the world. And then in the back, they have the children all saying hello in their language. And it goes through, and it's all of these children that are in that book. This also goes nicely with, the World Atlas and many of our other books, but it's just a great resource. We also have different board games that go along with many of our, books. We have Millie's Chickens, and then there's a Millie's Chicken board game, and many of our books have supplemental materials that go with them that can enhance and, expand that learning and that literacy and that growing and bonding between you and your child as you are taking part in this together. We also have a great number of anthologies. The anthologies are wonderful because they allow our older readers to dive deeper. And they still allow for you as the parent to continue reading to your child and to continue developing, that relationship and that bond that's happening while you're reading. Because studies have shown that children actually from, our independent readers from 8 to 17 enjoy when their parents read to them still because of the bonding. It's that special time with their parents. So the nice thing about our anthologies is you can read it to your 7-year-old, you can read it with your older children, and they also have many fact sheets. This is Stories of the Opera. I'm a huge fan of this one. And, it has many cultural pieces about opera. It talks about the different operas, but it also talks about opera houses, how opera, started, the different, ways to act at an opera and why operas are so prestigious and where they began. They talk about the different opera houses. So many of our anthologies have this. Another unique quality of most of our books is they come with a read-aloud CD. So your child, if you can't read the story to them and they can't read the book, they can still access the book by listening to the story. Or if you're in the car for a really long time and you just can only listen to Old MacDonald so many times, pop in a story while you're driving and listen to that as you go along and have conversations about that. We also have some great word books. I always get bored with word books, to be honest, when, you see, I'm like, how do I read this story? I don't know. But we have a couple unique ones. So this is Skip Through the Seasons. And in Skip Through the Seasons, it's different. It's a different word book. It has the words along the bottom, but it's a real story. So as you're reading the story, you can stop and be like, oh, can you find this or can you find that? So you can start to really broaden their vocabulary as they're searching for these items. It's kind of like a seek and find book. And then we have our Wonderful Words book. And our Wonderful Words book is a story as well, but it has, you know, just like you'd expect with a regular word board book, all these areas that are labeled and things that are labeled. And it starts with, you know, let's get dressed. We woke up in the morning and then we got dressed, and it has all the different clothing. So you can talk to your child if you're, you know, working with a 2-year-old on dressing themselves or a 4-year-old on dressing appropriately when it's winter and they can't wear shorts. Then you can very easily, you know, use this book and be like, oh, look, the weather is sunny outside. Oh, and it's warm. What should she wear? Many of our books just lend themselves to so many different areas. We also have chapter books, and our chapter books are great. They all have illustrations throughout, which you don't expect with a chapter book, but again, it allows the author to use more sophisticated vocabulary. And our chapter books are, you know, they're leveled by our early independent readers, our early readers, our independent confident readers, and then our advanced readers. Our advanced readers, I have to tell you, it's for those children that really, it's complex sentence structures, complex vocabulary, but the illustrations really tie in the story, and the, you know, your children that are in 5th, 6th, you know, 6th grade, 7th grade, could still be reading these stories and really getting so much from them and having a good time reading them and developing that love for literacy. So, now that you've learned a little bit about how Barefoot Books can help to, you know, encourage your child in education while also giving them that opportunity to read and develop a love for literacy, let's continue on and see how else Barefoot Books serves children.